16. That's the number of NEET-related deaths reported in Tamil Nadu ever since the National Eligibility cum Entrance Test or NEET was introduced by the Narendra Modi-led union government across India to secure admissions into medical colleges in medical courses, MBBS courses. Following the latest incident of suicide of a NEET aspirant, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister MK Stalin has now mooted once again the idea of bringing back education from the concurrent list to the state list. In neighbouring Karnataka, the Congress government is keen on scrapping the national education policy come next academic year. In Kerala, the left government led by the CPIM is all set to introduce a supplementary textbook that will have lessons that have been omitted or dropped by the NCERT. Southern states are pushing for autonomy in education. On this episode of State of Play, I tell you why Southern states are doing this and how they are going about it. I am Anusha Ravi Sood. Welcome to the show. Earlier this week, a 48-year-old man, a single parent, died by suicide 2 days after his 19-year-old son ended his life after failing NEET twice. This makes NEET-related deaths in Tamil Nadu, or puts the toll of NEET-related deaths in Tamil Nadu at 16. The number is huge. Despite opposition from several states, the union government has made NEET the sole entrance test to secure admissions into MBBS courses across the country. And this step was further concretized when the union government brought in the NMC Act as well. NEET is seen as fundamentally flawed by the DMK-led government in Tamil Nadu that insists that the entire procedure is unfair and does not provide a level playing field for students who hail from socio-economically and educationally disadvantaged backgrounds. Several people who oppose NEET insist that students who are resorting to suicide are students who hail from communities, from sections like these. Data submitted to the Madras High Court shows that 3,033 students who took coaching classes for NEET cleared NEET exam and secured seats in medical colleges for NEET 2019-2020, whereas only 48 students who did not go to NEET coaching classes got MBBS seats after clearing NEET exams. The numbers, several critics of NEET exams would suggest to you that the numbers show that this is not a level playing field. Students who have the means, the resources to avail additional coaching, to go to coaching classes, are at an unfair, undue advantage as against students who do not have the means, the resources or ways to access additional coaching as far as NEET is concerned. This trend perhaps is similar for all entrance exams, but in Tamil Nadu, NEET is the biggest bone of contention. The 19-year-old NEET aspirant's suicide prompted Tamil Nadu Chief Minister MK Stalin to reignite this debate of bringing education back to the state list. This isn't the first time that this idea has been mooted. This isn't the first time that such a debate is taking place. The 7th schedule of the Indian Constitution provides a description of division of powers, functions between union and state legislatures. This schedule of the Constitution primarily divides powers and functions into 3 lists, 3 subjects: union list, concurrent list, and state list. Those subjects that come under the union list are exclusively under the purview of the union government to legislate upon. Similarly, those subjects that are under the state list are for the state governments, the state legislatures, to exclusively legislate upon. The concurrent list involves functioning of both the union and the state governments to legislate upon several subjects. However, once the union government legislates on any subject in the concurrent list, it takes away the powers of the state governments, the state legislatures, to amend, to make changes to it. Any amendment, any change to that particular legislation done by the union government on subjects under the concurrent list has to be assented to by the President of India nonetheless. Even if state governments want to have a say, they do not have a free hand to do so on subjects that come under the concurrent list. When the constitution was given to India, there were 97 subjects under the union list, but now it is well over 100. The state list had about 66 subjects, but now the state list has just about 61 subjects. As far as the concurrent list goes, there were 47 subjects under the concurrent list, but now there are 52 subjects under this list. Do you see what has happened over the years? Successive governments have consistently attempted or have succeeded in their attempt to move subjects that were categorized under state list to either union or concurrent list, taking away from the federalistic spirit or the federalistic principles of federalism envisioned in the Constitution. Education was a state subject till 1976. It was during the emergency that was imposed by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi that education was removed from the state list and put under concurrent list through an amendment, 42nd Amendment to the Indian Constitution. And this switch move was made at a time when there was emergency declared across the country, when the state's power and authority was curtailed, when freedom of expression and fundamental rights was suppressed. And this entire move of education from state list to concurrent list came at a time where the state legislatures could not discuss this, could not debate this, and there was barely any debate in the parliament as well. This move was seen as a blow to federalism as a whole, federalism as an idea envisioned in the Constitution. But since then, several governments have changed. There have been Congress-led coalition governments, BJP-led coalition governments, Third Front, where H.D. Devegowda was the Prime Minister. But successive governments have taken no measures to give this particular subject of education back to the state list. In fact, union governments, including the incumbent union government of the BJP led by Narendra Modi, insist that it is because education is currently under the concurrent list that we are able to come up with large-scale progressive policies like the Right to Education Act, which has ensured access, equality of education to everybody. But what the union government doesn't tell you is even before education was brought under the concurrent list, several state governments passed their own education acts, passed their own education bills that ensured access and equality of education to all. In fact, state governments, especially in the South, have been pioneers when it comes to progressive education and health policies. Health is another subject that is also under the state list. Take, for example, what Tamil Nadu did with its midday meal scheme. Tamil Nadu is a pioneer of the midday meal scheme. It brought together two sectors of health and education, combined it, and got great results. Introducing midday meals helped the state see a drop or fall in school dropout levels. The scheme was so successful and so popular that other states emulated it. Eventually, it was emulated by the union government at the national level. Even today, although the scheme is called PM Poshan, it is the state government that is the bigger resource giver, or state government that is the bigger partner in implementation of the scheme. So there have been several progressive policies brought in by state governments for education as a sector. Several people who support education being under the concurrent list insist that this is perhaps the best way to have a nationwide standard, a national standard, a pan-India level course, a single benchmark as far as education is concerned across the country, where certificates issued by any state level college, any state level school will be valid for consideration in other parts of the country as well. It kind of bridges all the gaps as far as education levels go, or at least the quality of education goes in different parts of the country, and makes for a national standard. But even before this entire exercise of bringing a state subject like education to the concurrent list, A valid certificate issued by a registered and recognized educational institution that offers standardized courses which have been evaluated and approved by supervisory educational boards have been valid throughout the country, not just throughout the country, but also abroad as valid certificates. Like I said, as far as the subject is under the concurrent list, yes, the union government and the state legislatures can legislate upon that subject. But once the union government legislates upon that subject, it takes absolute and whole control of that subject matter, of that topic entirely. For a state government to make any changes, any amendments to the national policy on that particular subject, it will have to go to the president. The president will have to give that particular amendment his or her assent under Article 254. This has been the biggest challenge for Tamil Nadu as far as NEET exemption is concerned. The Tamil Nadu government, the Tamil Nadu Assembly, in fact, adopted a resolution seeking to exempt the state from NEET examinations, simply called the NEET Exemption Bill. The Tamil Nadu Assembly passed this bill and sent it to the governor for assent, but Governor of Tamil Nadu, Ravi, insisted that the state government has no jurisdiction to pass this bill since the union government had already brought in a law with regard to NEET, had already legislated upon this particular issue. The Tamil Nadu Assembly was reconvened exclusively for this NEET exemption bill once again. This bill was adopted by the Assembly once again, was passed in the Assembly once again, and sent to the governor. Constitutional mandate insists that the governor, when a bill is sent to the governor for the second time, should either give this bill his or her assent or send it to the President of India. Now, this bill is still pending. Governor of Tamil Nadu, Ravi, insists that he will never give his assent to this NEET exemption bill. Ironically, his statement of never approving or giving his assent to NEET exemption bill came on the day this 19-year-old boy died by suicide after failing to pass NEET twice. The question isn't just about NEET and medical college admissions. It is entirely the national education policy which has come under scrutiny as far as opposition party governed states are concerned. Take, for example, Karnataka. Even before the Congress came to power in Karnataka, when the Congress was the opposition party and the union government introduced the national education policy in 2020, the Congress was very vocal in its opposition to NEP. The incumbent Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, D.K. Shivkumar, in Karnataka's assembly, then as an opposition leader, had deemed NEP Nagpur education policy. He was referring to Nagpur that houses the RSS's headquarters in Maharashtra. His reference or his insinuation was that NEP, the National Education Policy, was in fact Nagpur education policy that looks forward to impose RSS's ideology into education system. The Congress-led Karnataka government has insisted that NEP is nothing but the BJP's attempt to saffronize education. In his budget speech, for the first time after returning as the Chief Minister of Karnataka for the second term, Siddaramaiah insisted that Karnataka will have its own education policy. They will not follow the national education policy brought in by the Narendra Modi government. Very recently, the Chief Minister reiterated this statement and said, come next academic year, Karnataka will scrap national education policy. His statement has been met with opposition by BJP leaders who insist that the Congress is indulging in vindictive politics. And the national education policy attempts to bridge the entire country as a whole when it comes to curriculum, when it comes to syllabus, when it comes to education. In fact, the Congress government in Karnataka has even undone the changes that were brought in by the previous BJP government in school textbooks. This academic year, in fact, the Karnataka government did not even want to wait until next academic year to undo the changes that were brought in by the textbook review committee. The much contentious textbook review committee recommended changes under the BJP government. The Siddaramaiah government came out with its own corrigendum booklet of sorts that told teachers what to add to syllabus and what to drop from existing syllabus. This the Karnataka government did because the textbooks for this academic year had already been printed and distributed to students. In this corrigendum booklet, the Karnataka government, the Congress-led Karnataka government, had reintroduced chapters that were dropped by the BJP government, chapters that have literature of Dalit writers, chapters on women freedom fighters, chapters that speak about state identity language in a positive light. In fact, the Karnataka government had dropped chapters that were introduced by the BJP government on RSS's founders, on Hindutva ideologue like Savarkar, or chapters that referred to language, regional, and linguistic identities as chauvinism. These were the chapters that the Congress government chose to drop from syllabus. In Kerala, the left government led by Pinarayi Vijayan is bringing its own supplementary book that will include all the chapters, all the portions, all the syllabus materials that were dropped by the NCERT. NCERT landed itself in a controversy over dropping several important lessons when it came to textbooks across the country. This especially for class 11, class 12 students. Kerala government has now decided that it will include these lessons on the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi, lessons on Jawaharlal Nehru, lessons on Gujarat riots of 2002. These were all syllabus that were dropped by the NCERT, and Kerala's education minister, in an interview to South First, deemed this an insult to the collective intelligence of the people of Kerala. And now Kerala is taking remedial measures to offset these omissions and is coming up with its own supplementary textbook. Students will be given the same material to study, material that was dropped by NCERT under the union government. Kerala's argument was that by dropping lessons on inequalities in India, on social movements in India, or dropping lessons on Dalit writers, etc., the NCERT under the Narendra Modi-led union government was trying to push right-wing agenda through textbooks, and the state government is simply ensuring a more inclusive, secular, and more intelligent syllabus for its students. Whether it is demanding that education be returned to state list as it was originally envisioned in the constitution, or coming up with ways, means to challenge the union government's policy decisions as far as education is concerned, state governments, especially southern states, are fighting for autonomy of education as a sector. Health and education are deemed or are understood as fundamental attributes of human development, and these are subjects that are best vested with state governments. Diversity, truly, especially in a country like India where diversity is our biggest virtue, this one size fits all approach perhaps will be more detrimental than helpful. We at South First will keep a track on how this subject develops. Do stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching.